Welcome back to another Star Trek Pros and Cons discussion video of Star Trek Picard Season 2. Today we just watched episode 3 of the second season, which was called Assimilation.
Yep.
And we're here to share our thoughts. Captain, as you can see, is out on his outpost over at DS9 today.
Yeah, the best Star Trek series in the last 20, 30 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
So far, not living up to it. Actually, this episode...
You were saying you liked it better than Season 2 at certain points in this episode, but by the end you were a little salty. I feel like I predicted all of this, literally almost beat for beat, from like the trailer, because again, we're just in Los Angeles and they're showing all the characters, and you made a really good point. At one point you said you just wish it had been more slapstick and less like
funny.
Political. Yeah, I would have much more rather had it been like funny and lighthearted than like all serious and like getting down the political path.
What was annoying was, when Raffi and Seven are together, like, they definitely did that with 7 of 9, where she was trying to figure out where she was and how it works. But, like, for some reason, Raffi, like, knew how to act, perfectly. Fine. Like, when she gets mugged and she just, like, takes that dude's gun.
Well, even concussed Rios was pretty comfortable in the past. Like, the most reaction anyone had was like, oh, man, you've got those, we're going to wash your weird clothes.
I'm just saying, if you sent me back 400 years, I would have no idea.
We've seen that people from Starfleet and other episodes too are totally clueless when they get to the past period.
Like, why can't we have that? Like, 7 of 9 was really the only character that interacted with the past that seemed kind of clueless. She kept, like, fucking up what a photograph was called. She was just kind of like...
And she was, like, pretty confident.
Out of her element.
That security guard was the worst at his job and should 100% be fired.
No joke. But, like Raffi. Okay, so Raffi... She has Starfleet training. I'll give her that. She, like, disarms the dude. But I hated movies where they, like... The gun, they just, like, rip it apart in half. And then just throw it. And, like, oh my god, we can't put the gun back together. It's broken.
She, like, hid one in a piece of shopping cart and then threw the other part in, like, a trash can nearby.
Yeah. Like, so she just automatically knows how to disassemble a Glock from, like, 40 years later? Maybe, or 400 years in the past?
Maybe she's a reenactor.
So...
I kind of hate her character anyways, so you're skipping over her whole, like, freak out reaction to Elnor.
Yeah, let's like...
And how she, like, reverted back from being, like... Because at the beginning of this episode, she's back to Starfleet. She's no longer a drug addict, right? She's, like, back... She's like...
Starfleet officer, commander of a starship.
Is she on the commander?
Yeah,
she's second like, commander, Raffi.
On the Excelsior, like a training
She's
vessel.
On her own ship, right? You're right, yeah. So she's supposed to have it together, and, like, she's, like, reverting back to, like, crazed, insane Raffi from, like, the first season, and, like...
Everything's bad, Picard sucks, because he's, like, dragging me into this shit, and, like, oh my god.
And she's like, well, I'm gonna just pretend. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta try and save Elnor. I mean, or you could just, like, freak out. I didn't like any of that. I don't like her.
That's why I was hoping Picard, in that moment, would have said something like, damn it, you're a Starfleet officer. We have seen people die. It sucks. We need to continue the mission. But the entire time, she's like, I can't believe I followed you here. Blah, blah, blah. Wah, wah, wah. I'm, like, so angry that Elnor got shot. And it's just, like... All of her character development in the first 2 episodes is just, like, shot out the window.
Yeah, she was like... Yeah, I feel like the same way. She's like, we're back to square one with her as a character.
So, like, are we going to see her hitting up a dispensary or grabbing a bottle of whiskey in 2024?
She'll probably get drunk, I bet.
Like, I guarantee you, at some point in the season, we're going to see a drunk, angry Raffi, like, complaining that 7 of 9, like, got married in an alternate timeline, and they're not together anymore, and Elnor's dying or dead or whatever.
Yeah, she was very upset about
that. Really just
married.
Like, bothered me. It was such a setback for good character development, and
it could have been handled differently.
It was so cheap. Like, I get it. We've had emotional Star Trek officers, but I guarantee you, like, if someone was killed on the Defiant, Major Kira would not be like freaking out on the bridge and like, oh my god, Ensign blah 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 died, like I'm gonna freak out and cry. Sisko would be like, get at your damn post and start firing phasers because we have 3 Jem'Hadar ships on our ass. And she would do it.
Yeah.
Like, you're an officer on a mission.
Yeah.
And, like, you've been following Picard.
Someone else says she's too emotional, which is totally correct.
I mean, it's just...
And they send people to back her up, and she's all, like, angry and gung-ho, and they get... And I think they mentioned, we're not going to be able to compensate for this, and it's like, they're going to separate them all. You know, right? And then they, like, almost kill Rios by dropping him midair so they can just have an excuse to give him a concussion, which, I'm pretty sure that's not how transporters work, but whatever.
I think we need to, before that, we both actually brought up this point, and you brought it up first, but when the
Elnor gets
on
shot?
the ship, so, like, Elnor gets shot with, like, a beam, and he's hit, and he's laying on the ground, but then, like, chaos ensues, and they all, like, take their weapons, and all the dudes' weapons are like vaporizers.
They shoot everybody and they get vaporized. And the only thing I can think of, I was like, dude, come on, like I was pointing out, and later you brought it up, and I was like, I mentioned it earlier, because we were just like too into the episode. But like the only thing I can think of is the magistrate or whatever, right? He must have had his blaster for whatever reason set to kill but not disintegrate,
right?
And the other guys had theirs to disintegrate, so. I don't know, whatever.
That was dumb.
Or maybe he shot Elnor, then they all turned him up to disintegrate.
We need to turn on power because
or maybe they can't disintegrate Romulans because he was like had elf magic going on.
Well, it was stupid too. They I guess they crashed on like what looked like Chateau Picard in like 2024.
I think so, because he said he's going home.
Yeah,
which is the Earth is home, but they're everywhere on Earth is. So I think he has to be outside the chateau.
That's what I'm thinking. And then they. So the ship literally just crashed.
I told you it was going to crash. I told you it was going to crash. I think I said it before they even started going back in time. I said that they were either going to crash and that they were going to have to leave someone with the ship cloaked or hidden the whole time, or that they were going to leave it in space cloaked or hidden or something.
People back
specifically so that they could break up the team. Some people would have to stay back to fix the ship, and that they would have an excuse to have 0 ship scenes for the majority of the rest of the season. And then they're going to fix it in episode 5. And episode 6, we're going to see him take off and return home just like Star Trek 4. My prediction.
Do you think they'll have whales?
Did you see the lower decks where they had dolphins? I watched that last night.
They have dolphins. Nice.
Alright. So, like, the dolphins are working in a room that's, like, filled with water.
The Enterprise had dolphins.
Yeah, I know. There's like a specific thing. I know, but like seeing it drawn in cartoon here, I kind of like Lower Decks, and I kind of hate it.
I haven't worried.
And I like the old original animated series, which you haven't watched yet, which we should watch because it's all written by original Star Trek series writers, and it's basically just TOS episodes, but they do stuff too that they never would have had the budget to do.
Actors too,
for the majority of dude. Like TOS, we should watch the animated TOS series and then watch Lower Decks together, 100%. And I know we've talked about Shuffle Track, but we should just do those because I think for all of them, it's like 30 episodes, and in the Lower Decks we can do 2 at a time and shit. And there's only like 8 TOS episodes, and they're good. So
Anyway, back to Picard.
I don't like Picard season 2. That's my overall opinion so far, but I like it better than the last season.
Like overall, I think this season is stronger. I'm just gonna stay flat out that this episode I hated, like most of it.
I didn't like the ship play, like one torpedo destroyed this or that, and I get why once the Borg Queen took over, but like Rios took a ship out with one torpedo.
Yeah.
But I did kind of like the ship scenes. It was fun. I did like seeing Starfleet ships and stuff in action.
And then they are really trying super hard to make statements. And it's just, it's way too heavy-handed, in my opinion.
Well, and it's not very nuanced. I mean, if it was nuanced or realistic, it would be something different.
Like when not Rios, but Raffi, after she gets mugged, she's like, oh, so much desolation, and there's like so much hope here. Like, humankind is such a contradiction. You're like, give me a fucking break. Like, your entire character's a contradiction over 2 episodes.
It's the same problem I've always had with these time travel episodes back to the present, because they get a little preachy, which Star Trek has always been a little preachy about this and that and the other, which is fine. I've never had a problem with it, you know.
First contact, like, we don't have any money, like, blah, blah, blah.
What TNG did that was so well was that it really was presented universal, like, messages in an intelligent way. And this one, they're presenting political perspectives in a unnuanced fashion. It's not done well. If it was done well, I don't care if it what your message is. If you do it well and write the story, it's still a good story, and I'm fine with that.
They're the most basic takes.
They're literally it is like a child's take, and they're hitting you in the face with a club with it, basically. Yeah. I
mean, it's just.
Well, all right, you probably know this. I work. We both work in the museum industry. What grade level are you supposed to target displays for at your venue?
Usually, like, just middle school age.
Like the quote-unquote rule book that I've seen says 5th grade.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
As I say, let's be real here. Come on, right? So, like...
Well, the museum I work at, I mean, both of ours are really, like... But mine, I guess more than the one you work for, is very science-based. Like... We talk a lot about space and flight and that kind of thing. So, I mean, that's pretty technical stuff.
My museum's got some science stuff going on.
I understand.
I'll state that they're both transportation museums.
Yeah.
This guy over here, my museum's more scientific.
Oh, I mean,
this guy, oh my god, that's the best take. That right there is the best take. This guy, he's a little bit of a museum smile with his big fancy museum degree. No comment, he says.
Pardon me.
That's alright. No, we're gonna like start debating it. Like, I like trains better than planes. You know, let's do this.
I love trains. Anyway, we're getting way off Picard here.
Well, I'm trying to like figure out where the hell we were, but you like blew me away with like saying your museum's more scientific than mine. I'm like totally like just at a complete loss right now.
No,
so why don't you take over for a minute and let me try and like
we were discussing
get my brain back.
We were discussing how they are taking like their 24th century philosophical and moralistic ideals and applying them to 400 years in the past. And saying, well, what we're doing is bad.
And I'm fine with...
we're so enlightened in the 24th century that, you know, everyone 300 years in the past is a complete idiot, that we can't figure out our own problems, that we have to go back and change it. That is what pisses me off.
Yeah, I know, but they've been doing a lot of the same, so it's just not well done. It's not well done at all. They're not really... I feel like they could have done it in an unexpected way, or they could have written it differently, or they kind of tried to get their point across some other way that could have been better integrated with the story. But of course, too, I'm looking at the story from the outset here, so who knows what's going to happen. Maybe by the end of the next episode, we're going to be blown away with like how intelligently written Star Trek is nowadays.
I want to fucking see what happens. I want to know this goddamn watch.
Don't worry, we're going to be stuck on Earth for about 4 or 5 more episodes before... How many episodes is this season? 10?
10.
And this is episode 3. So my prediction is we have another 5 or... I'm going to say 6 more episodes on Earth. And at the end of the sixth one here... So on episode 9, they'll finish getting the ship ready, and then we'll be back in space, returning home in the 10th episode.
And we're just going to hear about how stupid people are in 2024
for the next
5 more episodes.
6 more episodes. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is going to piss me off because it's bullshit.
Well, dude, just try and go in and go with the science fiction elements that they've included in the series. But,
okay, I hate to go old Star Trek on this shit, but when Kirk and the crew go back in Star Trek 4, that definitely...
Such a good one.
That movie definitely had an environmentalist pitch to it. Like, we all the whales are extinct. That was the only way we could communicate with the probe, was to go find whales in the past. So they go to the past. It was definitely a save the whales type of movie.
Sure.
But they don't, like, punish or call out the people from 400 years in the past about how stupid they are for destroying shit. This is what this one is doing. They're punishing us for being reckless, dumb human beings in a facetious and condescending way. That is all Raffi does this entire episode, is like talk down to modern society from the perspective of 300 years in their utopian future.
Yeah.
That is all I saw from her this entire time. And it's just like so...
So we're talking about times
It's
two that
annoying.
they've... Alright. So like, I'm trying to make sure this is the right one I want to talk about here. Yes, I believe it is. I believe it's... Star Trek with good time travel. They did a book called The Department of Temporal Investigations Forgotten History. Have you ever read that one?
That was like the Bell Riots, right?
No, that one's the one where like it starts off with these guys interviewing like I believe it's the DS9 guys about a temporal issue, you know, and basically it's the same thing as this episode where they like talk about like Kirk going back and changing time, and it like canonizes like all of the time travel stuff, and like it's really well done in the book. It's excellent.
That DS9 episode where they're interviewing him about
yeah, dude, that series they did like, I think, let's see, I read 2 of them at least, and I like both. Watching the Clock and Forgotten History.
I'm fine with social commentary.
Yeah.
But when it's done in a juvenile manner, as this episode was portrayed as,
You're just intolerant of the dumbassery.
Yeah, it was like completely ham-fisted and forced.
Yeah.
It was forced, and it just like took
we
away.
were gonna read. Were we gonna read the episode description? That was making us laugh.
Oh yeah, like the Borg Queen, like rockets the Starship Enterprise crew into the past. Like it was such a cheesy.
Here, I'm gonna pull it up. All right.
First of all, there's no fucking rockets on Rios' ship.
Picard and friends travel back.
Picard and friends
travel back to 2024 in the hopes a mysterious watcher will be able to help them fix their own timeline.
By the way, Picard and friends. First of all, Raffi fucking hates him, and then
and Girardi's a murderer.
Girardi's when she's like assimilated, basically shits on him the whole time too. No one's a fucking friend on that ship.
His friend Elron was, but Elron's dead.
Dead.
Well, he'll be back.
He'll be back for sure.
With a little help from the Borg Queen.
A little fucking help? She did the whole thing!
The Star Trek Picard crew rockets back into the past for an hour of what is essentially table setting for the rest of the season. See, even though they know the rest of the season is spent in the past. But Assimilation is an enjoyable enough episode in its own right, dropping our faves in 2024 and allowing the show to comment a bit on the state of our world, even as they work toward fixing the one they left behind. The shitty, crappy, horrible, evil world that they left behind.
You know what's weird? The one they left behind, there's nothing fucking wrong with it in the first place, because Q just decided to throw Picard back into the past to just mess with him. Yeah. The only thing wrong with the 24th century that we knew in the Picard series was Picard himself.
I'm glad we did get a Q appearance, although
very brief.
Well, he was there at least. during the,
I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes.
I know you
this
like
one
it.
was like not good.
And see, this was about the same for me.
How many?
I told you, this is literally exactly what I expected. Basically, I kind of like him like me.
How many table setting episodes do we need?
Well, the first episode was a table setting for the first episode and getting us to the second episode.
Which was a
table setting for the second episode and to get us to the third episode. And now we're to the cheap part of the series, so this will last for 5 or 6 episodes.
Can we just get on with the goddamn plot? Like, who's the fucking watcher?
I think it was really poignant. I didn't even really thought about it, but you said Picard's going to have all his seasons on board the ship. And you're right. They don't have to take him anywhere. It's probably how the insurance agreed to it. And remember, they are saying they just wrapped filming for Picard Season 3. Really, that's Season 2, but they cut episodes off to make it into Season 3. So I won't even be surprised if we get a to be continued at the end of the season.
So now we're going to have 4 episodes of him just yakking away with the Borg Queen, reminiscing about old times. Is that all we're going to see now?
Yeah, well,
I suspect
that the large majority of next episode, we're going to be following poor Rafi through the system. Or not Rafi, Rios through the system. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember their names, but I just don't care.
We're wasting time.
We're going to follow him for 1 or 2 episodes as he tries to get out. Next episode, alright, you want to know what's going to happen?
The immigration system?
I'm going to tap into my production experience here, and I'm going to predict that the next episode's Rios story is literally him being in the jail in the clinker trying to get out, and he'll finally make contact with his she's in the jail with him, so she's going to be stuck there with him.
She's a U.S. citizen.
She'll be getting out by the end, but she's harboring Rios. And so they'll get out by the end of the episode, and then he's going to hang out with her the next episode at our house and get to know her rough-and-go-lucky son who needs a father figure. And
they're going to do it.
They probably will do it in that episode. Yeah. And then, dude, I told you that I had at one point the feeling that Rios might even stay in the past and not go back. Because she's all talking that he needs to learn guitar and shit. Dude, he's going to totally stay in the past and not go back to the future with him.
Or he's going to not want to leave when everyone else leaves, and they're like, but you're going to have to leave because it'll fuck up the timeline.
It'll be sad. Do you think they'll do that, though?
Or they pull a Star Trek 4 and pull her with them.
That's not going to destroy.
Remember, because they pulled the whale expert into the.
Maybe that's the timeline she's supposed to die.
Remember, his wife was killed or something, out in season 1. That was why he was all sad.
You're making it sound like too much Hollywood sense. Dude, now I'm fearful. Then.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what they're going to do with the B story. They're just going to sit there and I guess try and find Rios like Rafi and Seven, and they'll just bitch about current timeline people, and then we'll get to see Picard have emotional trauma about the Borg.
Him and the Queen are just gonna jack each other off for 4 episodes about being the Borg. Look cute as Queen, look cute as Queen.
So okay. I feel like the Queen that we're seeing. All right, okay. Ooh, new prediction theory. Because why wouldn't they show us the Queen at the end, right? And I told you after the first episode I thought it was Picard's mom because of the phrase she muttered. It's Girardi. Or it's Seven.
I'd say more Girardi at
I think it might be Girardi. So that Queen that we saw at the end with all the shit shooting out of her with the weird... It's totally Girardi. And so she's come back as the Queen, the Queen to make a truce with the Federation, because she's already a cyberneticist or whatever, and then their crew next season will be the Borg Queen will be on their ship with them
as a crew member.
Yeah,
the Borg Queen is going to be a crew member.
I think so, maybe
in Starfleet.
Maybe
if that's the case, Star Trek is truly dead.
I'm not going out there, but I think I might be right about Girardi.
I like that prediction because I can totally see it now.
Can't you see that happening?
Because
I just saw it because as soon as I was thinking, I was like, and Picard told her, when you go back to the future to meet with me, You have to say something only I'll know. So say, look at the stars, and it'll make me think of my mom. It's totally Girardi, dude. It's totally Red Queen.
Well,
it's totally the Red Queen type thing or whatever. What was it? Was it the Red Angel? It's totally the Red Angel this season. It's Girardi is the...
Well, remember, Girardi was only 8% assimilated, which at that point...
It's going to be like growing throughout the season. At some point, she'll have like a face popper.
Something's going to blow out of her
She'll
head.
have a face popper.
Definitely. It's got to be.
I don't like Girardi anyways, but I don't like this. You don't want to watch the Halo show with me, do you?
No.
I hear it's really bad. And I'm like a Halo, like, kind of like a fan of the canon because I read the books back in the day and everything, and it sounds like they're going to totally disrupt that and make it dumb. We did talk about maybe watching Spider-Man. Would you be up for that? Did you see that in theaters? And you're not up to your Marvel movies, so it might be kind of a fun contradiction. You could come guest host on like akaBoG. Might be a good promo one.
Sure.
Throw it out there as an idea. I don't know, man. I don't really have anything else to say about this episode. I like the ship stuff. I feel like there's no surprises, and I predicted all of this nonsense. I feel like you're 100% right on with like, if they're gonna make political messages, just make them in like an intelligent way, and like write a compelling story. You can make me feel for people in various situations. Just don't be dumb about it.
I agree. I have really liked this season overall.
Pick some stuff you liked about it. Pick some pros
about this episode.
Yeah, did you have any pros yet?
Yeah,
I said I liked the spaceship stuff.
I did. I liked.
We try and do a little bit, right? A little one. What did you like?
I thought the Borg Queen is really cool.
You liked the scenes involving her.
I think she's...
Is this a Borg Queen we've had before from Voyager or from First Contact? Or is this a new actress? Okay.
Different but the Borg Queen just seems kind of nebulous, like a nebulous type of character.
Yeah.
I think she's doing a good job. I really like this version of the Borg Queen. I really liked... I liked 7 of 9's kind of fumbling, trying to figure out what a photograph is called.
Yeah.
I think 7 of 9's like grasp of 2024 is more in line with what reality should be if you're thrust 300 years into the past.
She's competent, but goofing up here and there a little bit, yeah.
Whereas, for some reason, Rios or whatever knows like everything.
It's like you said, they should have Star Trek 4. It would have been a lot more fun.
Double dumbass on you,
Yeah.
Picard's the actual character of Jean-Luc. You're like, was he actually? I don't know.
No, he hasn't really felt present last season. He hasn't felt present this season. It feels like if it's just a different take.
Like when Rios, when they're going back in the past or whatever, and like Picard's at the helms, like,
Rios is like, I need some hands up here. This is not working.
Like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
I want more Q.
I feel like old Picard should be a lot more. He's just been exploring space for 100 years or 90 years or however fucking long. I feel like he should have his shit together a lot better than he does.
Right.
I feel like it's like they took Picard from episode 1, season 1, and transplanted him like 60 years into his future instead of like, and ignored all of the character growth and development he did over the 7 years on the Enterprise D.
Right.
I feel like, I'm sorry, but I just feel like that. I don't really like the portrayal of the character. It doesn't feel true to the character.
And I really,
as I knew him on the old series.
I liked Rios's plot. Overall.
I like Rios. Yeah, I like Rios.
I think he's the best character on the show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just how his like plot ended was super sketchy and dumb. But I thought it was interesting when he was telling that story, like that heartfelt story, and she like resets his broken hand, and he's just like, I thought that was good. I liked, like I said, I liked the Borg Queen stuff. I liked their shootout with the other starships, which were cool.
Yeah.
And then the Queen just like taking over and fires the torpedoes.
I thought the disintegration effect from the phasers was good too when it worked.
But there were just like so many things like.
It just wasn't as
Just, like,
enjoyable
took away.
watching this episode as it was like the last two. Honestly,
I'm sick of table setting episodes with this show.
I just want to get
Just
into
get
the
on
story.
with the
We
plot.
know who the characters are, and right.
Not even a hint to us.
Why do we have to go to
is?
like? Couldn't we have just done like the? I don't know. Maybe it all makes sense at the end of the season, bro.
But we have to sit through 10 episodes then. Like good shows.
It gives us
leave
an
you
excuse
crumbs
to hang
throughout.
out together for 10 weeks in a row,
We
consistently.
do that anyway.
Well, you've been busy, you know.
But like this
is a good reason for us to hang out.
I agree. But
It's just I wish it would be more like, yeah, Star Trek's back.
I just want to see some progress in the goddamn plot a little bit.
They gotta set everything up for 3 weeks, bro.
I want to see who the Watcher is. I want to see more Q.
Do you have any predictions about who the Watcher might be?
I have no idea.
No, neither do I.
I have no clue.
Do you think it'll be interesting or bad?
I'm going to say interesting until it's bad.
Interesting until it's bad. Oh,
I'm not going to judge until I see it, but I'm going to be disappointed, I'm sure.
Disappointed, I'm sure.
And I know I'm coming off as a negative Nancy this episode, but this one had me super salty. I've really liked the last two, honestly. I've really enjoyed them.
I'm kind of surprised.
This one just didn't do it for me, and I just...
And see, I'm just kind of like incensed. Like, I literally predicted all of these. We were watching it, and I predicted the crash, I don't know, 5-10 minutes before it happened. Like, I'm like, they're just gonna crash, dude.
Yeah. You're like, oh, they're gonna split it up. Because that's kind of what they did in Star Trek 4, right?
It is. It's the same one, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a bad version of Star Trek 4.
Well, Star Trek 4, their ship didn't even crash. It just, like, perfectly
They were hit
landed.
it. Yeah, I know, man. They had to modify it, though, with tanks, so I told you they were going to split the crew up and have some stuck at the ship working on it. It's Star Trek 4, but not funny.
I wonder, because remember, Chekhov got captured?
Yeah.
And he escaped, but then he went to the hospital? I wonder if it's doing that in reverse.
I told you, this is 100%, dude. He's at the hospital.
Nuclear vessels. Like Uhura walking around asking.
They did talk about, too, quite poignant with WW action going on and all the nonsense across the world. Oh, no fallout yet. We'll see, so.
Anyway, I've pretty much said all I have to say about this.
I have nothing else to say. It's
overall,
interesting.
kind of dumb.
Kind of okay-ish.
There were good parts, but overall...
better than season 1 comparison. But I just want, like you said, I'm tired of setup episodes. I want the meat of the story.
Seriously.
And I feel like they're probably going to drag out a lot of the shit on the planet here just so they can not pay any budget.
That's a good point. I just want to see a progression in the story.
They were trying to turn it, and I told you too, I think we might even see, I wouldn't even be surprised,
a 2-part,
if we get a season finale for episode 10 that's like to be continued and they're still not off the planet.
Is this like the fucking Enterprise Xindi thing where you thought they were done with the Xindi and then they all of a sudden
going.
The next season they're like back in like that Stormfront
like, hey,
series?
season 3 where it's literally
God.
the entire season is the Xindi storyline.
Infuriating, and then it's
only 26 episodes.
It's like bleeds into the next season too. Remember they were all like Nazis or something?
Yeah, but then that one went more episodic, like 3-episode arcs. That was
like, end this. Why do all these series just have to be so fucking complicated now?
I just want some good old... What are we going to see with Strange New Worlds? You saw me. I was all bitching about the trailers for Strange New Worlds because it's Strange New Worlds and the first goddamn thing they show us is Cowboy Christopher Pike on Earth for like 8 shots.
Hold on.
I'm just saying, Strange New Worlds, here's Pike on Earth. You're fucking morons. That's how you're deciding to advertise it.
That has relevance to Pike's backstory, which goes back to the original series.
I don't need Pike's backstory. I know Pike. I know Anson Mount Pike. I want Strange New Worlds. I want Star Trek.
Okay.
I don't want 3 episodes of Pike on Earth deciding to become a space cowboy again, and then going out there even though he knows he's going to get scarified, which we already went through that with last season. I just want to see Pike on the ship doing fucking Enterprise missions.
I'm sure we will. I don't think it's going to be that long. I think it's just...
How many episodes till we get a proper old TOS style episode?
I'm sure it'll be the first episode.
It's not going to be the first episode.
It's supposed to be an It's supposed to be an anthology series. It's not going to be episodic. It's not supposed to be like a full season arc.
We'll see what happens.
I think it was...
Did you hear they cast a new Kirk?
Yeah.
Did you see him? What did you think?
He looked dopey and serious. Like, Kirk's like smiling and cocky all the time. This guy was just like... Bleh. I thought Chris Pine was a pretty good Kirk. If you're gonna...
I like Chris Pine.
I thought he was fine.
He's fine.
But...
This guy looks like he'll be alright. Is this Ensign Kirk or something?
I don't know. He's in a captain's chair.
Yeah,
Kirk never was with Pike, though. That's the thing. In TOS, Kirk never served under Captain Pike, ever.
He took over the ship from Pike.
Yeah, like 10 years later.
Hence why the bridge crew carried over from Pike to Kirk.
Kirk was never serving under Captain Pike. Only in JJ Trek.
They were like...
TOS Trek, it was a totally different character.
Beep. Beep.
Yeah.
Where's my...
Because
Dude, I need to set it up so we can have like a call button. So like we have like buttons that we can push so we can be... Beep. Beep.
Because Spock was the only one that served with Captain Pike, and that's why Spock took them back to...
Uhura wasn't with him?
Uhura wasn't there. Majel Barrett was, number one, but she was Nurse Chapel, so it was a completely different
characters,
character.
Yeah. It's different.
So Spock was the only one literally from the Cage trailer into Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Pike left him there. Didn't want to bring him with him. Must have hated the guy.
Like, I don't know why...
Yeah, like, I don't even want to respond to that ridiculous
I don't even understand why
nonsense.
We need to connect Kirk and Pike in the first place, ever. Because they're not connected.
Maybe they're just... Pike's gonna have an episode and we get to see Kirk moving forward with Strange New Worlds.
I feel like Kirk was a lieutenant on a ship before the Enterprise.
Well, yeah.
He was somewhere. Like,
he wasn't like under... You said he wasn't under Pike.
No, never. He was on a completely different ship.
He came and took over the Enterprise, right. So he would have had to have been commander somewhere else, right?
Right. He never worked with Pike.
I don't know.
That's why he was like, Spock, like, who the hell is this guy? And Spock was getting court-martialed in that episode.
Alright.
Star Trek's getting stupid, man.
Oh, it's getting stupid now. It's been stupid.
And I don't agree it has been stupid, but like...
New Trek is not...
I'm hoping episode 4 is better than episode 3 of this season. I mean, every Star Trek season is a shitty episode. I'm hoping they get this one.
Sometimes it takes a series 2 or 3 seasons to find their footing and get good.
How old is Patrick Stewart? Is he going to last 6 more years?
No, he only has 3 seasons.
Well, he's a bionic.
And there are only really 2 seasons.
By the way, they didn't bring up he's a synthetic.
Q did.
This episode. He did?
No, well, no, not this episode.
Okay, good. I'm like, damn it, did I miss a synthetic reference again? Like, for God's sake. How many times do you have to remind us?
Mug plug?
Sorry, can we go back one more thing?
Yeah, here, just plug your mug. Make a case of why you want people to buy your mug.
If you like TOS and TOS Captain's Gold,
get your mug. If you like TNG and you like Captain's in Red, you should get my mug. Alright, back to it.
Do you think the droid lady will come back?
The who?
The droid lady. What's her name?
From Star Trek Star Wars Mandalorian?
Yeah, we're going to do a cross-universe.
I don't know what droid lady you're talking about.
What's her name? I always forget.
Oh, from the
Soji.
Soji, in the last episode.
Do you think we'll see like a Soji appearance?
I think that Soji filmed one day for the series, and she filmed an appearance at the beginning, and she filmed a reaction when they get back. She'll be the one to like hail them and be like, "Welcome back to the current timeline. Thank goodness everything's normal."
So she's not.
Or they'll come back and they'll get message by evil android Soji, who's like, "Welcome to the current timeline." And they're gonna be like, "No, it's not fixed." I don't know. I think we might see her in one more cameo appearance.
Do you think we'll see her in 2024?
No.
No? Okay. If we do, they better fucking explain it.
I'm like, you asked, and I had to lean over so I can look at you and be like, wow, how the fuck would that even happen?
Exactly.
The fuck are you even talking about? I'm like, flabbergasted in my mind is like, if she shows up in 2024, they better have a really good explanation.
Exactly. I have some like temporal distortion field in my android body. Blah blah blah.
Haven't we tried to wrap this shit up now like 10 times? Like, why are we still talking about like this show? It just gets your theory is making me all flabbergasted and angry. I don't like it.
When they make time travel episodes, it gets out of hand.
We were making predictions though, and they're all coming true, and it's not good. And I'm really worried about Borg Queen Girardi because I think that's a thing now.
I think so.
Oh my god.
Let's end it on that before we get
all right.
Deeper down the rabbit hole.
On that note, thank you for watching Star Trek Pros and Cons Discussion Time with Captain Minsick 171 and akaBoG.
I will be less salty the next episode.
It's alright. Hey, sometimes you gotta take the salt, sometimes I do, man. Just released a new unboxing video where we both did it. It's kind of a hot mess because it's the first time we did a video together.
Cool ship, though.
It is a cool ship. And we are going to do follow-ups with the other variants from Picard Season 1 to show the differences. It'll be cool. So we got a lot of content planned. Tune in. Every week we are doing new episodes for Star Trek Picard. And we will be doing that all season.
Yeah.
So suffer with us. Or hey, if you like
Next
the show, tell us too.
could...
Tell us what you like. We want to talk about it.
Next episode could be a total banger, so I'm hoping it is.
All right. Peace out.
Yeah.